So Supreme just sold to VF Corp for $2.1 billion, and a lot of people are kind of freaking out about this, though I don't really think it's as big as people are kind of making it out to be. A lot of people are forgetting that back in 2017, I think it was, the Carlyle Group became majority stakeholders for Supreme. To recap what resulted from that, we saw higher stock, and then I think we also started seeing longer seasons or more drops per season. So instead of like 18 or 19 that we saw quite a few years ago, we started moving towards like 20 and even 21 drops or weeks per season. And like I said, we saw higher stock, which resulted in lower resale for some pieces, but as time goes on, Supreme just gets bigger and bigger, so demand goes up, so stock obviously also has to go up to some extent. So that's what happened under the Carlyle Group, which I read about, and it says it's common for them to kind of just pick up businesses, grow them a little bit, and then sell them off, which, you know, it's exactly what happened. I think I read they bought them for around $1 billion, and then they sold it to VF Corp for $2.1 billion, so definitely not a bad investment in turnaround on their part. As far as VF goes, or VF Corp, I think you can find their stock under VF. They did have a spike yesterday. When I looked at it, they were up like $9 per share because of the news breaking that they were acquiring Supreme. But as far as VF goes, they do own a lot of clothing businesses. They have brands like Vans, Timberland, and then also the North Face. Obviously, these three brands that are mentioned are big collaborators for Supreme each season, or at least like once a year. So one of the concerns is that VF will limit collaborations for Supreme to just in-house VF brands. So like I just stated, maybe it'll just be Vans, Tims, and other stuff under their umbrella of companies, but they have come out and made a statement that this will not be the case. They will like have Supreme just they'll offer them or let them retain their free reign of brands to collaborate with, which obviously is a big part of Supreme, and restricting that would, I think, you know, damage or, you know, hinder the brand, not only the brand itself and its reputation, but obviously their stock. So it'd be like shooting themselves in the foot. Another worry that people have of VF acquiring Supreme is that it'll end up in stores like Zumiez eventually. We have examples of limited release streetwear brands like the Hundreds, Diamond Supply Co., and things like that kind of selling out and then losing, you know, a part of what made them special when they kind of open up to this unlimited stock and, you know, wider audience. But if you think about this topic, it really doesn't make sense for them to open it up to the public or, you know, just increase stock through the roof and like stock it in different stores. You know, it doesn't really make sense. Yes, there are only 11 physical Supreme stores. What we could see is them expanding that, opening up more stores, increasing stock a little bit, or maybe like before we have bigger collections, you know, more items per drop, maybe more drops per season, though we are getting pretty narrow between the gaps between seasons with how many drops we do have. I think it's only like maybe a month and a half between seasons at this point, so there's not much wiggle room for that. But to go back and touch on the point of them putting it in stores like Zumiez, it really doesn't make sense because they just invested $2.1 billion into this company, which the main portion of its value comes from its exclusivity. Like, yes, they could put it in somewhere like Zumiez or like PacSun, and they'd probably see a spike in sales as people, you know, notice that it's there and they rush to get their hands on it. But after a short while, you know, it's going to lose its exclusivity. It's going to lose the hype surrounding it because, you know, that's what it uses to build the hype. When it becomes available to everybody where they can just go and grab and pick up a piece, it's not going to be as special as it is, and people are going to move on to other exclusive brands. And it really wouldn't make sense for them to do this because they have $2.1 billion they just invested into this brand, and then they could turn it around and get like a really quick return with people going in and buying it, but that would result in the brand losing its exclusivity, its hype, which is, you know, the value of the brand in many ways, and then it would just kind of like trickle down to nothing as it just lost its popularity over time and people moved on to other exclusive brands. So this doesn't make sense. You know, these people have this $2.1 billion to spend for a reason. You know, they're smart with their investments. They know how to acquire brands and run them in a way that makes them money. This is how they got there, and they got the chance to acquire Supreme for this much. So, you know, they're not going to be dumb about it unless they are like really stupid and they're just like filthy rich for no reason. But, you know, I assume they have $2.1 billion lying around to purchase Supreme for a reason. Another big thing to mention is that James Jebbia, or Jebia, I never know how to pronounce it, is going to be sticking around and will be making the decisions underneath VF Corp. So realistically, what do I expect to happen? I feel like we might see a little bit of an increase in stock. We might see a couple more items per season, you know, a little bit bigger collections that drop so they can, you know, get more money. Obviously that results in more money, having more pieces to sell, and then also having you know, more stock, you know, more stuff to sell, you make more money on it. So that makes sense. They could open up more stores where they can, you know, peddle this stock and still have it kind of in a limited fashion, but I think these are all things that we could see happen. So in conclusion, no, I don't think this is going to be the death of Supreme unless they're really reckless with how they run it, which given their track record and their standing, I don't think will be the case. And it's also, you know, once again important to note that Supreme has lost a lot of their control already back when they were acquired by a Carlyle Group or when they got majority stakeholder shares. So, you know, this is just another step in that same game. You know, a lot of people were saying that this is just the resell game on another scale or on a much bigger level. And that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, or none of that. Just stopping by and watching means enough to me. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.